The alarm systems screamed across New Horizon Colony just after dawn. Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the emergency lights turned everything red. He dropped his cup and ran to the control center, his heart pounding in his chest. The main screen showed something terrible. 30 warships had just appeared in space above the planet. They were big, dark, and covered in weapons. Jake recognized the markings immediately. Krell pirates. The worst kind of trouble anyone could face in this part of space. "Get everyone to the bunkers," Jake ordered. His voice stayed calm even though fear twisted in his stomach. "Right now! This is not a drill." Megan Hayes was already moving. As the colony's security chief, she had trained for this day, hoping it would never come. She grabbed her radio and started giving orders to her team. "All civilians to underground shelters. Security teams, get to your positions. Move, people, move!" The colony was home to many different species. The Vexhari looked like giant insects with shiny green shells. The Thornbacks were big reptiles with thick armor covering their backs. The Lumeni were made of living crystal that glowed with soft light. And then there were the humans, about 200 of them, trying to make a peaceful life far from Earth. Outside, the Krell ships began their attack. Bright plasma beams cut through the sky. The colony's defense shields lit up as they absorbed the hits, but everyone knew those shields would not last long. The Krell were famous throughout the galaxy for their cruelty. They took everything and left nothing alive. The Vexhari commander, whose name translated to clicking sound of rain, rushed to Jake's side. His antenna trembled with fear. "We cannot stop them," he said in his clicking voice. "Our weapons are not strong enough. We must surrender and hope for mercy." "The Krell don't give mercy," Megan said, checking her weapons. She had 2 pistols and a rifle, all using old-fashioned bullets instead of energy weapons. "We fight or we die." A Thornback warrior named Scales of Iron stamped his heavy foot. "My warriors will hold the main entrance. We are strong. We will fight to the last." But even as he spoke, everyone could see the fear in his eyes. The Thornbacks were known as fierce fighters, but the Krell were known as killers. There was a difference. Jake looked at his screens. The Krell had 30 ships. The colony had 6 small defense platforms and maybe 50 fighters total across all the species. It was not a fair fight. It was not even close. "How long until the Galactic Council can send help?" Sophie Grant asked. She was a human scientist who had been studying with the Lumeni. Her crystal friends stood beside her, their light flickering nervously. 3 days, clicking sound of rain said. "The nearest fleet is 3 days away." "We have maybe 6 hours before they break through," Megan reported, reading her tactical screen. "The shields are already down to 60%. Jake made a decision. He walked to the communications console and entered a special code, an override code that bypassed the normal Galactic Council channels. He sent a message directly to Earth, to the military headquarters, using the emergency frequency that all human colonies kept secret. "What are you doing?" the Vexhari commander asked. "Earth is even farther away than the Council fleet. They cannot help us in time." Jake finished sending the message and turned around. For the first time since the attack started, he smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something others did not. "You don't understand," Jake said quietly. "Earth doesn't have to get here in time. Earth is always ready." The alien species looked at each other, confused. The humans in the room started to smile too. They checked their weapons with practiced hands. They moved with purpose, setting up defensive positions like they had done this before. "What do humans know that we don't?" Scales of Iron asked. Kyle Chen, the colony's chief engineer, laughed as he loaded his rifle. "You're about to find out." The next 2 hours were chaos. The Krell ships kept firing. One by one, the colony's defense platforms exploded. The alien fighters went out to attack, but the Krell ships were too strong. The Thornback pilots fought bravely, but half of them died in the first battle. The Vexhari ships had good shields, but Krell plasma weapons cut through them like paper. Everyone fell back to the bunker entrance. Megan organized the defense with calm efficiency. She put her security team in positions that made no sense to the aliens. They talked about fields of fire and fallback points and kill zones. The aliens had never heard these terms before. The Lumeni scientist Sophie tried to explain to her crystal friends why humans seem so calm. "My people spent 10,000 years fighting wars on Earth," she said. "We learned how to fight in every way possible. We're good at it because we practiced on each other." The crystals flickered in confusion. "But Earth is peaceful now," one of them said. "You joined the Galactic Council. You follow the rules of civilization." "Yes," Sophie agreed. "But we never forgot the rules of war." A massive explosion shook the bunker. The Krell had landed ground troops, thousands of them armed with plasma weapons and battle armor. They surrounded the bunker entrance. The alien defenders tried to hold them back, but they were not trained for this kind of fighting. Clicking sound of Rain's antenna drooped in despair. "We are defeated. In one more hour, maybe less, they will break through the doors. We should surrender while we still can." Jake checked his watch. He checked the communication console. Then he smiled again. "We're not surrendering," he said. "Why not?" the Vexhari commander asked. "We have no hope. No help is coming." Jake walked to the main screen and changed the display. He showed them the message he had sent to Earth. He showed them the response that had just come back. The response was just 3 words, but those 3 words made every human in the room stand a little taller. "Inbound, 6 minutes." Megan checked her weapons one more time. Kyle made sure the explosive charges by the door were ready. The other humans got into position, ready for whatever came next. The aliens looked at the humans like they were crazy. 6 minutes was not enough time for any ship to cross the distance from Earth. It was impossible. "What does this mean?" Scales of Iron demanded. "What happens in 6 minutes?" Jake looked at the big Thornback warrior. His smile was not nice at all. "In 6 minutes," Jake said slowly, "you're going to learn why humans are so careful about starting fights. Because when we finish them, nothing is left standing." Outside, the Krell pressed their attack. They were confident. They had done this 100 times before. They had conquered 40 systems. They had never been stopped. In 6 minutes, they would learn something new. In 6 minutes, they would meet Earth's real military. In 6 minutes, everything would change. The Krell warlord Jathok watched the colony from his command ship. He had conquered many worlds before this one. This attack was going just like all the others. The defenders were weak. They would break soon. His second-in-command approached. "The aliens are retreating to their bunker. We have them trapped. Should we accept their surrender?" Jathok made a sound like grinding metal, which was how his species laughed. "No. We take everything. We leave nothing. That is the Krell way." "There are humans among them," his second noted. "Humans." Jathok looked at his data screens. "I have never heard of them being dangerous. Just another weak species hiding behind Council protection." He gave the order to advance. His ground troops moved forward, surrounding the bunker entrance completely. 3,000 Krell warriors, armed and ready. The small group inside had no chance at all. Inside the bunker, the situation grew more desperate with each passing minute. The aliens were panicking. The Vexhari huddled together, their antennae trembling. The Thornbacks paced back and forth, growling with frustration. Even the calm Lumeni flickered with distress. But the humans were different. They were not panicking. They were preparing. Kyle Chen opened a large metal case and began handing out weapons to the other humans. The aliens watched in confusion. These weapons looked ancient. They used explosions and metal bullets instead of clean energy beams. A young thornback warrior approached Megan. His name was Sharp Claw of Morning. "Why do humans still use these primitive weapons?" he asked, looking at her rifle. "Energy weapons are much better." Megan loaded a magazine into her rifle with a smooth, practiced motion. "Energy weapons are good against most things," she agreed. "But these bullets don't care about shields. They don't care about armor. They just punch through everything." She pulled out a single bullet and showed it to him. "This is made of tungsten. It's very heavy. When it hits something at high speed, physics takes over. Shields that stop energy beams can't stop solid matter moving this fast." Sharpclaw looked at the bullet with new respect. "Your species kept these old ways?" "We didn't keep old ways," Kyle said, joining the conversation. "We perfected them. Humans spent thousands of years learning how to kill each other. We got really, really good at it." The Thornback's eyes widened. "You fought your own kind?" "For 10,000 years, Kyle confirmed. "Every human culture invented warfare independently. We have fought in deserts, jungles, oceans, mountains, cities, and plains. We know 1,000 ways to fight." Sophie Grant was explaining human military history to a group of Lumeni. They could not understand what she was telling them. The idea of one species spending so much time fighting itself was strange to them. "But why?" one crystal being asked, its light pulsing with confusion. "Why would you hurt your own people?" Sophie's expression turned sad. "We asked ourselves that same question. That's why we finally stopped. That's why we joined the Galactic Council. We were tired of war. But being tired of something doesn't mean you forget how to do it." A massive boom echoed through the bunker. The Krell were using heavy weapons on the door now. The metal groaned under the assault. Clicking sound of rain checked his instruments. 2 hours, he said quietly. Maybe less. They will break through. The Vexhari commander sent a message to the Krell, asking to talk. Jathok's face appeared on screen. He was big and covered in dark scales. His teeth were sharp and yellow. "We wish to negotiate," clicking sound of rain said, trying to keep his voice steady. "No negotiation," Jathok replied. "Only death. You chose to resist. Now you all die." "We have civilians here," the Vexhari pleaded. "Children. Let them go and we will surrender." Jathok's laugh was horrible to hear. "Your children will serve us or die with you. You have 1 hour to open your doors. After that we come in, and it will be much worse for everyone." The screen went black. Clicking sound of rain turned to Jake, his antenna drooping in defeat. "There is no hope. We should open the doors and fight to the last. At least we will die with honor." Jake looked at his watch. 3 minutes had passed since the message from Earth. 3 more to go. "We're not dying today," Jake said firmly. "How can you be so sure?" Scales of Iron demanded. He was trying to be brave, but everyone could hear the fear in his voice. "Even your Earth ships cannot get here in time. You said 6 minutes. Even if they arrive, they will be outnumbered. The Krail have 30 ships in orbit." Megan smiled. It was not a nice smile. "You're thinking about this wrong. You're thinking Earth will send a few ships to help us. That's not how Earth works." "Then how does it work?" Sharpclaw asked. Kyle answered while checking the explosive charges by the door. "When you call Earth for help, Earth doesn't just send help. Earth sends a message. That message is simple. Nobody touches our people." Another explosion rocked the bunker. The door was starting to crack. The Krell would break through soon. The alien defenders readied their weapons. But everyone knew it was hopeless. Jake's watch beeped. 6 minutes had passed. He looked at the ceiling like he could see through all the rock and metal to the sky above. "Right on time," he said softly. Outside, in space, something impossible happened. The fabric of space twisted and tore. Reality bent in 3 places at once. Every sensor in the Krell fleet screamed warnings. 3 massive ships appeared where nothing had been before. They were huge, bigger than anything the Krell had. They were gray and angular, covered in weapons. Behind them came smaller ships, still bigger than most Krell vessels. On the command ship, Zathok stared at his screens in confusion. "What are those?" His sensor officer checked the readings twice before answering. His voice shook with fear. "They're Earth ships, 3 assault carriers, 8 destroyers, 4 ground attack ships." "Only 15 ships?" Zathok regained his confidence. "We have 30. We outnumber them 2 to 1. All ships, attack formation. Destroy them." Inside the lead carrier, Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge. His uniform was crisp and clean. His face was calm. He had done this many times before. "Open a channel to all Krell ships," he ordered. A young officer at the communications station looked nervous. "Sir, they're powering up weapons. They're going to attack." "I know," Ryan said calmly. "Open the channel anyway." The channel opened. Ryan spoke in a clear, steady voice that carried no emotion at all. "This is Captain Ryan Blake of the Earth Defense Force, commanding Task Group 7. All Krell vessels are ordered to power down weapons and prepare to be boarded. You have 60 seconds to comply." On the Krell command ship, Zathok heard the message and laughed. This human was either stupid or insane. "Tell him we refuse. Tell him he's outnumbered and will die." The message went back. Ryan received it and nodded like he had expected this answer. He looked at his tactical officer. "How many seconds left?" 45, sir." "Good. That gives them enough time to realize their mistake." Ryan turned to his weapons officer. "All ships, weapons free. Engage at will." "Should we warn them again, sir?" a young ensign asked. Ryan looked at the ensign with cold eyes. "I gave them 60 seconds. They chose to refuse. We don't give second chances to people who threaten human colonies." He pressed a button on his chair. Throughout the 3 carriers, alarms began to sound. Thousands of soldiers in powered armor moved to their drop pods. Pilots ran to their fighters. Every weapon on every ship came online at the same time. 30 seconds, the tactical officer reported. Down on the planet, Jake heard the roar of engines in the sky. He looked at the frightened aliens around him and smiled. "That sound," he said, "is the sound of Earth keeping its promises." The first shots in the battle came from the Krell fleet. 30 ships fired at once, sending hundreds of plasma beams and missiles toward the Earth vessels. It looked like an impossible wall of destruction. No ship could survive that much firepower. But the Earth ships did not try to dodge. They did not run. They simply activated their defense systems. Small guns all over the Earth ships began firing so fast they sounded like continuous thunder. Thousands of tiny bullets filled the space between the fleets. Every incoming missile exploded before it could reach the Earth ships. The plasma beams hit the ship's armor and scattered harmlessly. On the Krell command ship, Zathok watched in disbelief. How? How are they doing that? His tactical officer studied the data, his claws trembling. "They're using kinetic point defense. Metal bullets thousands per second. Our missiles can't get through. And their armor is designed to disperse energy weapons." "Then use the heavy plasma cannons," Zathok ordered. "Full power. Burn them out of space." The Krell ships charged their biggest weapons. Beams of bright blue plasma, hot enough to melt a moon, lanced toward the Earth carriers. These were weapons that had destroyed countless enemy fleets before. Nothing could withstand them. The Earth ships took the hits directly. Their armor glowed white-hot. For a moment, it looked like the Krell weapons were working. Then the Earth ships returned fire. The sound of railguns firing in space cannot be heard, but if it could, it would be like the voice of an angry god. Long barrels on the Earth ships glowed as massive magnetic coils accelerated metal slugs to incredible speeds. Each slug was as big as a car and moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The first railgun round hit a Krell battleship in the center. The ship's shields lit up, trying to stop the projectile. The shields were designed to stop energy weapons, to redirect plasma beams and laser fire. They were useless against solid matter moving at those speeds. The slug punched through the shield like it was not there. It punched through the armor, it punched through the entire ship front to back and came out the other side. The Krell battleship split in half and exploded. 3 seconds later, 5 more Krell ships died the same way. "Evasive maneuvers!" Zathok screamed. "All ships, scatter!" But the Earth ships moved with them. The 3 huge carriers turned with a grace that should be impossible for vessels so large. The 8 destroyers spread out, each one targeting multiple Krell ships at once. Captain Ryan Blake watched the battle display with calm eyes. "Target priority to ships with troop transports. We need to make sure no more Krell reach the surface." "Yes, sir," his weapons officer replied. She was young, but trained. Her hands moved across her controls with smooth precision. "Destroyers 3 and 4 engaging troop ships now." 2 Earth destroyers broke formation and accelerated toward a group of Krell transport vessels. The transports tried to run, but they were too slow. The destroyers fired again and again. Within 90 seconds, 8 Krell transports were gone, taking thousands of Krell warriors with them. Zathok was no coward. He had fought many battles and won them all. But he had never faced an enemy like this. His ships were dying, and he could not understand how. His weapons should work. His tactics should work. Nothing was making sense. "All ships, focus fire on the lead carrier," he ordered. "If we kill their command ship, maybe the others will retreat." Every surviving Krell vessel turned toward the relentless, Ryan's flagship. They fired everything they had: plasma beams, missiles, kinetic rounds from their own weapons. The space around the carrier lit up like a sun. Ryan did not even flinch. "Status! Forward armor at 80%. His damage control officer reported. "All systems functional, no casualties." "Return fire. All batteries." The Relentless was built for one purpose: to win fights in space. Every weapon on the massive ship fired at once: railguns, missile pods, laser turrets, and something new that the Krell had never seen before. Magnetic accelerators launched thousands of small drones into space. Each drone was barely bigger than a football, but each one had a small rocket motor and a warhead. They scattered like a swarm of angry insects, too small and too many for the Krell point defense to stop. The drones slammed into Krell ships by the hundreds. They were not powerful enough to destroy a ship alone, but they did not have to. They targeted engines, weapons, sensors. They swarmed over the Krell vessels like ants covering prey, and where they hit, the ships started to fail. "Ingenious," whispered Ryan's tactical officer, watching the display. "Overwhelm their defenses with quantity instead of quality." "It's an old human strategy," Ryan replied. "When facing a stronger opponent, don't fight fair. Fight smart." Within 10 minutes of the battle starting, half the Krell fleet was destroyed or crippled. The survivors tried to retreat, but the Earth destroyers pursued them. These smaller ships were fast, faster than anything the Krell had. They ran down the fleeing pirates like wolves chasing deer. "Sir, 10 Krell ships attempting to jump to hyperspace," the sensor officer reported. "Let them charge their drives," Ryan ordered. "Wait until they're committed." The fleeing Krell ships began glowing as their hyperspace engines charged up. It took 30 seconds to build enough power to jump. 30 seconds when a ship could not move or defend itself properly. 20 seconds into the charge, the Earth destroyers fired. Railgun rounds crossed the distance in heartbeats. The Krell ships, unable to dodge while charging their jump drives, died one after another. The last one managed to jump, but its engines were damaged. It would not make it far. The space battle was over in 12 minutes. 12 minutes from first contact to total victory. 20 Krell ships destroyed, 10 captured or crippled. Only one escaped, and it was badly damaged. Down on the planet, every sensor and screen in the bunker showed what was happening above. The aliens watched in absolute silence, unable to believe what they were seeing. "Impossible," clicking sound of rain whispered. "They were outnumbered. They should have lost." "Should have," Jake agreed. "But you don't understand Earth military doctrine. We don't fight to be fair. We fight to win." Kyle was grinning as he watched the battle end. "And now comes the fun part." "Fun?" Sharpclaw asked nervously. "What do you mean?" "The fleet was just the opening act," Megan explained, checking her weapons one more time. "Now the real soldiers arrive." On the Relentless, Ryan opened a channel to the ground assault ships. "Commander Parker, you have green light for drop. Secure the surface and protect the colony." In the belly of the ground assault ship Warhound, Commander Lisa Parker checked her armor one last time. Around her, 200 soldiers did the same. Each one wore powered armor that made them look like walking tanks. Each one carried weapons that could destroy vehicles. "Listen up!" Lisa's voice came through every soldier's helmet radio. "We have friendlies trapped in that bunker. The enemy has them surrounded. We are going to change that situation very quickly. Remember your training. Remember your mission. Protect the innocent. Punish the guilty. Make Earth proud." 200 voices answered as one. "Yes, ma'am." The dropship shook as it entered the atmosphere. Outside, the air burned hot from friction. Inside, the soldiers stood calm and ready. They had done this before. Dropping from space to a hostile surface was something they practiced every month. 30 seconds to drop," the pilot announced. Lisa checked her rifle one more time. It was bigger than the rifles the humans in the colony carried. It fired larger bullets faster. It could punch through armor plating. She also carried grenades, a sidearm, a combat knife, and enough ammunition to fight for hours. 10 seconds. The soldiers moved to their drop pods. Each pod was just big enough for one person in armor. They would be shot out of the ship like bullets from a gun, falling through the sky to land right on top of the enemy. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch! The drop ship's bottom opened. 200 pods shot out, falling toward the planet below. Inside each pod, a soldier checked their gear and prepared for landing. They fell through clouds and wind, their pods glowing from the heat. On the ground, the Krell warriors surrounding the bunker looked up in confusion. The sky was full of falling stars, hundreds of bright lights streaking down toward them. One Krell sergeant realized what was happening. He grabbed his radio to warn everyone, but before he could speak, the first pod hit the ground right next to him. The impact made a crater. The pod opened. A human soldier in powered armor stepped out, raised a rifle, and opened fire. The Krell sergeant died without ever sending his warning. Around him, more pods landed, more soldiers emerged, and the real battle began. The landing was like thunder. 200 drop pods hit the ground in a circle around the bunker entrance. Each impact made a small crater. Each crater became a fighting position as armored soldiers emerged and immediately opened fire. The Krell had never seen anything like this before. Orbital drops were considered too dangerous by most species. The risk of being shot down during the fall, the difficulty of landing in the right place, the possibility of equipment failure. Most civilized armies had abandoned the tactic thousands of years ago. Humans had perfected it. Lieutenant Danny Foster hit the ground hard. His armor absorbed the impact, but he still felt it in his bones. Before his pod finished opening, he was moving. His rifle came up. His helmet display showed him where every enemy was. Red markers everywhere. Hundreds of Krell warriors all around him. "Squad 2, forming up on me," Danny called over the radio. 4 more soldiers appeared from their pods, moving to join him. They created a defensive position in seconds, their movements smooth and practiced. A group of Krell warriors charged at them, firing plasma rifles. The bright blue bolts hit Danny's armor and scattered. The armor was designed to redirect energy weapons. Some of the heat got through, but not enough to hurt him. Danny did not scatter when he fired back. His bullets went exactly where he aimed them. 3 Krell dropped. The others tried to find cover, but Danny's squad was already moving, advancing with steady fire. Within seconds, the Krell group was eliminated. "Push forward," Danny ordered. "We need to link up with the bunker defenders." All around the landing zone, the same scene played out. Human soldiers in powered armor fought with brutal efficiency. The Krell outnumbered them 10 to 1, but numbers did not matter. The humans had better armor, better weapons, and much better training. Sergeant Nicole Brooks landed near the western side of the bunker. Her pod crashed through a Krell defensive position, scattering warriors everywhere. She emerged firing, her rifle set to full automatic. The heavy bullets cut through Krell armor like paper. "Watch your fire," she called to her squad. "Friendlies inside that bunker, no shooting toward the doors." A Krell warrior, bigger than the others, rushed at her with a massive axe. Nicole could have shot him, but she did not waste the bullet. She sidestepped his swing, grabbed the axe handle, and used the Krell's own momentum to throw him into the ground. Her armored fist followed up, and the warrior stopped moving. "Enemy attempting to retreat to the south," her second-in-command reported. "Let them run," Nicole decided. "Our job is to secure this bunker, not chase down every pirate. Stay focused on the mission." Inside the bunker, the defenders heard the sounds of battle change. The Krell had been attacking the door with steady, confident fire. Now the shooting outside became chaotic. Explosions, screams, and a sound like constant thunder that must be human weapons firing. "They're here," Jake said, unable to keep the relief out of his voice. "Earth is here." "Should we go out and help them?" Sharpclaw asked. The young Thornback was eager to join the fight now that help had arrived. "No," Megan said firmly. She was listening to her military radio, hearing the commands and reports from the human soldiers outside. "The Earth soldiers have this under control. If we go out there, we'll just get in their way." Kyle, however, had other ideas. "We can't just sit here. We have wounded. We have civilians who need proper shelter, and I have a plan," he explained quickly. The bunker had a second exit on the eastern side, away from the main battle. If they could slip out there, they could evacuate the civilians while the Earth soldiers kept the Krell busy. Jake thought about it for 3 seconds, then nodded. "Do it. Take anyone who can't fight and get them to safety. Everyone else stays here in case the Krell break through before our people can stop them." Outside, Commander Lisa Parker coordinated the assault from her command position. Her helmet display showed her the location of every human soldier, every Krell warrior, and the bunker's position. She could see the battle as it unfolded in real time. Squad 5, enemy concentration on your left, she called out. Squad 7, move to support them. The soldiers moved like parts of a machine. When one squad engaged the enemy, another would flank. When Krell tried to retreat, they found more humans waiting. The fight was brutal and fast. A Krell officer tried to organize a proper defense. He got about 30 warriors together behind some cargo containers, creating a strong position. They had good cover and good angles of fire. It should have been a hard position to break. Lisa saw it and made a decision. Danny, that strong point on the north side, take it out. Yes, ma'am, Danny replied. He signaled to his squad, then reached for a grenade on his belt. Not a regular grenade, something bigger. He set the timer, then threw it in a high arc that would land right in the middle of the Krell position. The Krell officer saw it coming. Scatter, he yelled. But it was too late. The grenade exploded with massive force, not just destroying the cargo containers, but creating a shock wave that knocked down every Krell warrior nearby. Danny's squad rushed forward before the enemy could recover. The strong point fell in less than a minute. On the eastern side of the bunker, Kyle led a group of civilians out through the hidden exit. He had 20 people with him, mostly non-combatants. Vexhari children, elderly Lumeni, a pregnant thornback female. They emerged into chaos. The sounds of battle were close, but the fighting itself was on the other side of the bunker. Kyle spotted a clear path to a low ridge about 200 meters away. If they could reach it, they would be safe. Stay low, move fast, and follow me, Kyle ordered. He carried his rifle ready, but he hoped he would not need it. His job was to protect these people, not look for fights. They were halfway to the ridge when a Krell patrol spotted them, 5 warriors, separated from the main group by the human assault. The Krell saw easy targets, unarmed civilians and 1 human with a gun. The Krell opened fire. Kyle pushed the civilians down and returned fire, his rifle barking steadily. He hit 2 Krell before his magazine ran out. He dropped behind a rock to reload. The 3 remaining Krell advanced, confident now. 1 human, almost out of ammunition, protecting soft targets. This would be easy. They did not see Sophie Grant until it was too late. The scientist had followed the evacuation group carrying her own rifle. She was not a soldier, but like all humans on frontier colonies, she knew how to shoot. Her first 3 shots dropped 2 more Krell. The last one turned to face this new threat, raising his weapon. Sharp Claw of Morning hit the Krell from the side like a truck. The young Thornback had also followed the group, unable to stay behind while others were in danger. He was not wearing armor like the Earth soldiers, but he had his natural thick scales and his fierce claws. He and the Krell went down in a tangle of limbs, fighting savagely. Kyle finished reloading and ran to help, but he did not need to. Sharp Claw was younger and faster. His claws found the gaps in the Krell's armor. The fight was over in seconds. "Is everyone okay?" Kyle called out, checking the civilians. No one was hit. They had been lucky. "We need to keep moving," Sophie urged. "More Krell might come." They reached the ridge and found Earth soldiers already there, securing the area. A sergeant waved them over to safety. "Civilians? Good. We've got a secure zone set up. Medical teams are on the way down from orbit." Back at the bunker entrance, the battle was ending. The Krell were broken, their formation destroyed by the precise human assault. Some tried to surrender, some tried to flee, a few fought to the death. Lisa Parker walked through the battlefield, her armor scorched but intact. She had not lost a single soldier. Some were wounded, but the powered armor had protected them from serious harm. Around her, human soldiers were securing prisoners and checking for any Krell still hiding. A young private approached her. "Ma'am, the bunker defenders are asking to come out." "Tell them they can," Lisa replied. "The area is secure." The heavy bunker doors began to open. The human soldiers watched calmly. Weapons ready, but not raised. They did not know what to expect from the aliens who had been trapped inside. Jake Morrison was the first one out. He looked at the battlefield, at the scattered Krell bodies and burning equipment, at the armored human soldiers standing calm and ready. It had taken the Earth military less than 2 hours to completely destroy a force that had seemed unbeatable. Lisa approached him and removed her helmet. She was young, maybe 30, with short dark hair and calm brown eyes. "Administrator Morrison? Commander Lisa Parker, Earth Defense Force, sorry we couldn't get here faster." Jake laughed. It was a slightly hysterical sound, the laughter of relief and shock. "Faster? You crossed half the galaxy in 6 minutes and won the fight in 2 hours. I think you did just fine." Behind Jake, the alien defenders emerged from the bunker. They looked at the human soldiers with new eyes. Seeing humans in simple clothes with basic weapons was one thing. Seeing humans in combat armor standing victorious over an enemy that had seemed invincible was something else entirely. Clicking sound of rain approached slowly, his antenna raised in a gesture of respect. Your species is very skilled at war." Lisa nodded, no pride or shame in her voice. Just a statement of fact. "Yes, we are. But we prefer peace. That's why we're here. To protect peace." "By being very good at war," Sharpclaw observed, joining the group. "Exactly," Lisa agreed. "The best way to keep peace is to make sure anyone who breaks it regrets it immediately." She looked up at the sky, where the Earth fleet was still in orbit. "The space battle is over, too. Most of the Krell fleet is destroyed. The survivors are in custody. This sector is secure." Jake felt the weight of fear finally lift from his shoulders. The colony was safe. His people were safe. Earth had kept its promise. 3 days after the battle, representatives from the Galactic Council arrived at New Horizon Colony. They came on a large diplomatic ship, expecting to find ruins and refugees. Instead, they found a functioning colony being rebuilt by human engineering teams. The council representatives were from different species: a tall, thin Vexhari diplomat, a wise old Lumeni elder who glowed with soft purple light, a Thornback general who had fought in many wars. They gathered in the colony's rebuilt council chamber, and they were not happy. "We need to discuss Earth's military actions," the Vexhari diplomat began. His name was Sound of Rain on Stone, and his voice was formal and cold. "While we appreciate the assistance provided to this colony, we have concerns about the methods used." Jake Morrison sat at the table representing the colony. Next to him sat Captain Ryan Blake from the fleet and Ambassador Ashley Rodriguez from Earth's diplomatic corps. Ashley was a middle-aged woman with gray in her hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "What concerns?" Ashley asked calmly. The Thornback general, scales like mountains, spoke next. His voice was deep and rumbling. "Your fleet destroyed or captured 30 Krell ships in less than 15 minutes. Your ground forces defeated 3,000 Krell warriors in under 2 hours. These numbers suggest military capabilities far beyond what Earth reported when joining the Galactic Council." "We reported our capabilities accurately," Ryan replied. "You just didn't ask the right questions." "Did you lie to us?" the Vexhari demanded. "No," Ashley said firmly. "We told you exactly what you asked. You asked how many ships we had. We told you. You asked about our weapons technology. We explained it. You asked if we intended to threaten council members. We said no, and we haven't. But you never asked how good we are at using what we have." The Lumeni elder pulsed with troubled light. "Perhaps that is true. But the violence your species displayed troubles us deeply. The Krell are vicious, yes, but the speed and efficiency with which you destroyed them suggests a species that knows warfare far too well. Megan Hayes entered the chamber, carrying a data pad. She placed it on the table in front of the council representatives. You want to know about human warfare? Here, our complete military history, 10,000 years of it. Read it and understand. The representatives looked at the data in silence. The Thornback General was the first to speak. 10,000 years of continuous warfare? That cannot be accurate. It is, Ashley confirmed. Not one war that lasted 10,000 years, thousands of wars. Humans fought humans in every age, every era, every generation. We developed weapons and tactics for every possible situation. We studied war like you study art. But why? The Lumeni elder asked, genuinely confused. Why would one species spend so long hurting itself? Sophie Grant, who had been invited to attend as a witness, answered. We asked ourselves that question many times. The answer is complicated. Resources, territory, religion, politics, pride. Sometimes we fought for good reasons, sometimes for stupid ones, but we always fought. Kyle Chen added his perspective. Every human culture invented warfare independently. When Europeans met Native Americans, both had weapons and tactics. When different Asian peoples met, they all knew how to fight. War is part of our nature. We tried to deny it, to rise above it, but it kept coming back. Until it almost destroyed us, Ashley said quietly. About 200 years ago, we came very close to wiping ourselves out completely. We had weapons that could destroy whole cities. We almost used them. That moment, that fear, finally made us change. The Vexhari diplomat leaned forward. So you learned peace? We learned the value of peace, Ashley corrected. But we didn't forget how to fight. We couldn't forget even if we wanted to. Fighting is in our bones, in our history, in our culture. So instead of pretending we were peaceful, we decided to channel our nature toward protecting peace instead of breaking it. Captain Ryan added context. The Earth Defense Force was created with one purpose, to protect humanity and its allies from external threats, not to conquer, not to expand, to defend. We train constantly. We prepare for every possible scenario. We maintain the largest ready military force in this sector of space, not because we want to use it, but because we never want to be unprepared again. Scales like mountains studied the human officers with new understanding. You maintain peace through strength. Through overwhelming strength, Ryan confirmed. We want every potential enemy to know that attacking human territory or human allies is suicide. We want them to understand that the cost will always be greater than any possible gain. That is a very aggressive form of peacekeeping, the Vexahari noted. Is it? Ashley challenged. Before we arrived, the Krell had attacked 12 colonies in this sector. 12. They killed thousands of people. They took everything of value and left nothing behind. Where was the Galactic Council? Where was the peaceful response? The council representatives shifted uncomfortably. The council does not maintain a standing military, the Lumeni explained. We rely on member species to defend themselves. We provide aid after attacks, not during them. That's not defense, Megan said bluntly. That's cleanup. You arrive after people are dead and buildings are destroyed and say nice words. The Krell knew this. That's why they kept attacking. There were no consequences. Until now, Kyle added. Until Earth showed them what consequences look like. The Thornback General nodded slowly. I begin to understand. You humans did not just defeat the Krell. You sent a message to every pirate, every raider, every criminal organization in this part of space. Exactly, Ryan confirmed. The message is simple. Human colonies and human allies are off limits. attack them, and face immediate, overwhelming retaliation. No negotiations, no warnings, just consequences. But this is not the way civilized species behave, the Vexhari protested. We negotiate. We find peaceful solutions. We don't resort to violence as a first option. Neither do we, Ashley said firmly. Violence is never our first choice, but it is always an option we keep ready. And when violence becomes necessary, we use it with maximum efficiency to end the threat as quickly as possible. Jake spoke up for the first time in a while. I watched my alien friends face the Krell. I saw their fear. I saw them prepare to die. Your peaceful methods weren't going to save them. Your negotiations weren't going to stop the Krell. Only force stopped the Krell. Quick, brutal, overwhelming force. And that troubles us, the Lumani elder said softly. A species so skilled at violence is dangerous, even when claiming peaceful intentions. You should be troubled, Ashley agreed, surprising them. You should be very aware of what humanity is capable of. But you should also understand our choice. We could conquer this sector in a year if we wanted to. We have the military power. We have the technology. We have the knowledge and experience. But we don't want to conquer. We tried that on Earth, thousands of times. It never brought lasting peace. Only more war. She stood up, looking at each council representative in turn. We joined the Galactic Council because we were tired of fighting. We wanted to be part of something bigger, something better. We offered our protection to any species that wanted it. But we will not apologize for being good at protecting our people. The Krell attacked a colony under Council protection, Ryan added. They threatened humans and non-humans alike. We responded exactly as our treaties allow. If that makes you uncomfortable, perhaps the problem isn't with how we responded. Perhaps the problem is that the Council has forgotten that peace sometimes needs defending. There was a long silence. Finally, Scales Like Mountain spoke. I fought in wars before joining the Council. I understand the need for strength, but I gave up my weapons when I embraced peace. And that's your choice, Megan said. But don't ask us to do the same. We've seen what happens when good people are defenseless. We've learned that lesson in blood, over and over, for 10,000 years. We won't forget it. The Vexhari diplomat made a gesture of frustration. So what now? Does Earth become the military power of the Council? Do you appoint yourselves as protectors? We don't appoint ourselves as anything, Ashley replied. Any species that wants Earth's protection can ask for it. Any colony that wants an Earth garrison can request one. But we won't force our help on anyone. If you want to rely on negotiations and peaceful solutions, that's your choice. Just don't call us when those solutions fail. The Lumani elder pulsed with thoughtful light. You truly believe violence is necessary? I believe preparedness is necessary, Ashley corrected gently. We hope we never have to fight again. Every human soldier would rather go home and never fire their weapon. But hope isn't a strategy. Preparedness is. Being ready to defend peace is what allows peace to exist. The meeting continued for hours. The Council representatives asked many questions. They reviewed battle footage. They studied human military doctrine with growing concern and, in some cases, grudging respect. In the end, no official decision was made. The Council would need to discuss the matter further. But something had changed. The galaxy now understood what humanity truly was. A species that had mastered war so completely that it could choose peace from a position of absolute strength. After the Council representatives left, Jake stood with Megan and Kyle, watching Earth soldiers patrol the rebuilt colony streets. Human engineers worked alongside alien workers, repairing buildings and restoring power. Do you think they'll accept us? Kyle asked. Or will they fear us now? Both, Megan predicted. They'll be glad we're on their side, but they'll never completely trust us." "Maybe that's okay," Jake said. "Trust has to be earned. We'll show them over time that we mean what we say. We're not conquerors. We're not looking for war. We just want to make sure that anyone who threatens innocent people knows there will be consequences." A young Vexhari child approached them, holding a flower. She gave it to a human soldier standing guard nearby. The soldier, a big man with scars on his face, knelt down and accepted the gift with a gentle smile. He said something to the child in her own language, making her antenna wave with happiness. "That," Megan said softly, "is what we're really protecting. Not territory, not resources. That moment right there. The ability of different species to live together in peace. Even if it means being really good at war," Kyle added. "Especially because it means being good at war," Jake corrected. The Krell understood one thing: strength. They didn't attack strong targets, they picked on the weak. Now they know humanity will defend the weak with overwhelming force. That knowledge will save more lives than any amount of negotiation. High above, the Earth fleet remained in orbit, a permanent presence now, protecting this sector of space. Other colonies were already requesting Earth garrisons. The word was spreading fast. Humanity keeps its promises. In the rebuilt council chamber, Ashley Rodriguez prepared a report for Earth government. She described the meeting with the council representatives, the concerns they raised, and the explanations she gave. At the end of the report, she added her own assessment. "The galaxy is learning what we are. Some will fear us, some will appreciate us, some will test us to see if we mean what we say. Let them. We will show them through our actions that humanity can be trusted to defend the innocent, to punish the guilty, and to maintain peace through strength. This is our role in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians. Not because we love war, but because we remember what happens when good people are defenseless." As the sun set on New Horizon, the colony was at peace. Children played in the streets. Families shared meals. Different species worked and lived together without fear, and watching over them all, standing guard in the darkness, were the soldiers of Earth. Ready, prepared. Hoping they would never be needed again, but always ready to respond if they were. Because that's what humanity had become. Not a species that forgot how to fight, but a species that remembered why they fought. Not for conquest or glory, but for the simple right of people to live in peace without fear. And the galaxy was slowly learning that when you threaten that peace, humanity will show up. Fast, overwhelming, and absolutely unwilling to negotiate with those who prey on the innocent. The Krell learned this lesson. The galaxy watched and learned it too, and in time, the lesson would spread to every corner of known space. Leave humanity and its friends alone, or face the consequences. Simple, clear, and backed by 10,000 years of experience in exactly how to deliver those consequences.